All right, I hope we're recording. Good morning. This is Expert Friday. We're doing the toughest puzzle that's available on the Microsoft Sudoku puzzles. Anyway, I thought I'd show you before we start some features that when you're doing these on paper, if you want all of the features, you can do it by hand yourself. As you originally count all the numbers available and do this simple system here, 5 and 4, keeping track of how many numbers, and every time you add a number, you simply add. So it tells you when you're done with each number, how many are available. And when you get done with every row, you put a check mark on the right-hand side. When you get done or complete every column, you put a check mark on the bottom. And when you get done with each box, you put a little mark, a little dot or a square that you shade in on the top right-hand corner of all of the completed boxes. The other thing you can do is apply the same thing to everybody that's grading, and therefore you can learn a lot by simply grading completed Sudoku puzzles or grids or matrices or whatever you call it. Plus, in the description below, there's a pretty complete instructions, which is very simple and minimal, and also how we try to be disciplined and term the different areas: boxes, columns, columns of boxes, rows of boxes, and so forth. Rows of cells within boxes and specific cells themselves. Okay, let's get going. The clock's been running. So, first of all, the number 1 is available along the center column, the middle center column. So there is no 1, so that's a good thing. There are quite a few 1s remaining, 6, so I don't. I can quickly see here across this top row of boxes that the 1 would either go here or here. So I'm going to make a quick note of that. Then down here in this left-hand column of boxes, the number 1 would go here by virtue of 1, 1, and 1. So then you'll find this is redundant, so the 1 here, still there's a maximum of 3 places the 1 could be. The combination of this 1 and this 1 with regard to the middle center box, okay, says that the 1s could either be here or here. So now because of that, we know that the 1 is here, the 1 is here. So just with regard with the middle column of boxes, the 1 can either be here or here. So this is going to be our final one of the day. Now here, let's see. Oh, that would be 3. All right. So that's about it for 1s. So now let's go to the smallest. 6s have 3. That's the fewest that are available. 6s. So let's see if we can complete for 6. Let's go along the top row of boxes. 6, 6, and therefore 6 by virtue of this 6 and this 6. All right, so let's go on this far right-hand column of boxes. 6, 6, and the 6 can either be here or here. Let's go on the far left column of boxes, or the left column of boxes. 6 on the right, 6 in the middle. Therefore, 6 can either be in one of these 2. All right. Now, while I'm here, I look at this middle column of cells on the left column of boxes. And there's only two numbers missing, so let's see what they are. 9, 8, 7 is missing. Okay, look, there's a 7 here. So therefore, that cannot be a 7. So the 7 is right up here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. The 2 is missing. So now that only leaves 2 cells, so we should be able to add the other number if we can't get the answer. 1, 2. So we're talking about the bottom left box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is missing. Look, there's a 5 here. So therefore, this has to be a 5, and this has to be a 6. Okay, so let's talk. We were talking about 6s when we came into this. The bottom row of 3 boxes, there's a 6 on the top, there's a 6 on the bottom, so 6s have to be in the middle. Looky here. By virtue, additionally, of this 6 and this 6. Okay, so we got done with 6s. What's the next smallest number? Would be 4s. There are 4 9s, 4 7s remaining. So 9 and 7. Since we happen to be here in this right-hand column of boxes, 7 on the right, 7 on the left, 7 needs to be in the middle down here, and there's a 7. Can't put it there, so therefore the 7 goes right there. So let's go to the middle row of boxes with regard to 7s. 7, okay, and then here, 7. So this here has to be a 7. And then as far as the middle center box, okay, bottom row, bottom 3 cell row of that middle center box, 7 cannot be here, therefore it has to be here. Therefore, we know that has to be a 1 based on prior notes. Let's complete for 7. We're down to 1, so we ought to be able to complete for it. It's the top box. So, top row of 3 cells in that box, the one empty cell cannot occupy 7 because 7 accounted for there. Any one of the 3 middle row, 3-box row in the top box cannot be occupied by 7. And down here, the bottom 2 cells, the one on the right, cannot be. So therefore, this needs to be the 7. And 7s are done. 9, there are only 4 9s remaining. So let's see what 9. So 9 can be in either one of these 2 right here by virtue of this one and this one. So we're going to put a note of 9 here and a note of 9 here. Those are those magical pairs. Okay. Magical pairs. All right, let's go to the middle row of boxes. We have a 9 here, a 9 here. The 9 cannot be here, therefore the 9 must be here. All right. The left column of boxes, 9s are all accounted for. The middle column of boxes, 9 on the left, 9 on the right. Let's see, 9 can either be here or here. Let's look at the right column of boxes with regard to 9s. All right. Let's see if we can make something of this. Okay, we have a 9 on the right. All right, so let's see if we have a 9 here, 9 here. So 9 takes these out here, and this 9 takes this one out. It leaves these 2 as a possibility. Now look at here. So we don't know which one with regard to this right-hand column of boxes. We don't know which one, but we know the 9's either going to be here or here. So with regard to up here, this cannot be 9. Therefore, it must be a 1 based on our notes. Therefore, this must be a 9. So now, with regard to 9, we should be down to 2. It's either going to be the middle or bottom here, the left or bottom left here, whenever we can solve for one or the other, then we will solve totally for 9s, if that makes sense. That takes us down to 5s. Now, what I like to do, the 1s are still down. We know we're going to leave this at 1, but we still have to solve for 2 on 1s. Let's check in and see if the 1s have... Okay, so here's something that I might think about. Bottom row of 3 boxes, middle column within the bottom row of cells only has 3 blanks left. We know in the 3 blanks, one of the 3 numbers would be 1, and another of the 3 numbers will be 9. Let's find out what the third number would be that needs to be in this middle row among the bottom row of boxes, the middle row of cells. So let's go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 is the next one missing. So look, there is a 2 up here. So therefore the 2 cannot be there, and the 2, it can either be as a note here or here. Okay? The 2 can either be here or here. That gives us a pair. 2, 9, 2, 9. That overrides that 1. So we have solved for 1. This is where the final 1 is going to be, and we're not going to complete it. We'll leave it as a lone 1. But we know in this bottom box, that will be the 1. And because it's in the center column of cells, that is the last one we're going to complete. I hope that makes sense. That's a little game within the game that I like to play. So, therefore, this should be the 1. So now, let's look at the middle with regard to 1s. This is how we got here. We came in looking to solve for 1s. Then we stumbled on this middle row of cells along the bottom row of boxes. So, let's see up here. In the middle row of boxes, far left, we have the 1 in the middle. We have the 1 on the top, so therefore, can the 1 be in either one of these? It needs to be. 1 cannot be here, therefore this will be a 1. So now we've confirmed that the 1 on the right, with regard to this column of boxes, the 1 on the right cannot be here, therefore it needs to be here. And we solved for that when we deduced that this was either going to be 2 or 9, 2 or 9 here. I hope that makes sense. And now down with regard to 1s, we're down to 1, and that's going to stay that way. This will be the last cell that we complete in this puzzle. That's a key concept that we stumbled on to there. All right, let's see if we can apply the same thing on this right column of cells in the left column of boxes, because there's only 2 missing. 9, 8, 7, 6. 5 is missing. Okay, So let's quickly make a note here. There's another concept we're going to be able to show you here. What's the other number that's missing? 5. Let's see, 4, 3, and 2 is missing. Now, I see the 2 there, but I'm going to show you something. Let's say we didn't know that this is going to be the 2, which it is. Therefore, this is going to be the 5. But let's say we didn't know that. Let's say we didn't have that 2 there. All right, we can now solve for this box. So we simply go through and we go 1, 2, 3 is the missing number. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 is the missing number. Now we'll complete this because we had the 2 there, so the 2 has to be here. Therefore, this must be the 5. All right. All right. So let's see. That hasn't affected our 9s, which we're down to 2 of. Let's look at 5 since now that is the lowest number, 5. Remember, we went to 1s. We checked in on 1s, so we reduced it down to the 1. If it was any other number, we'd get rid of it if we could. Either that or we'd leave notes like we've done on the 9. With the 5, let's see if we can solve for the 5 in this middle row of boxes. Top, bottom, we know it has to be in the middle of one of these 2. There's a 5 down here, so it must be here. Remember, there's only really one tip, and that is never guess. And never's a long time, but never guess. Never guess. Leave it blank. Don't put a guessing note. Never guess. All right, that was 5. We're down to 3 5s. Let's see if we can figure 5 out. Okay, we know 5 is going to have to be, with regard to this top row of boxes, of 3 boxes, 5's on the top. There's no 5 here. But by virtue of the fact that these 3 are complete, if the 5 cannot be there, it has to be down here. There happens to be a 5 here, so this is the 5. So the 5 needs to be, by virtue of this one and this one, that needs to be somewhere along here. There's a 5 in the middle. That means we can make a note of 5 for now, or 5 for now. Remember, we put a maximum of 2 within any place where we're making notes. We can't put more. So within a box, within a column, within a row, we can only put a maximum of 2 notes. That's my own rule. All right. So let's see here. Look at here. 5, with regard to the bottom row of boxes, of 3 boxes. 5 cannot be anywhere here. 5 cannot be here. Well, there's only a blank spot, so the 5 needs to be here. So now with regard to above, the 5 can only be here. So now we've solved for 5s. What's the next smallest number? That didn't affect our 9s, which were down to 2. Didn't affect our 9s. The next smallest number are 2s and 3s that each have 5 remaining. So let's go with 3s. Let's check with 3s out. 3s have been kind of lonely. So with regard to the middle row of boxes, there's a 3 down here. Okay, that means the 3 can either be, with regard to the center middle box, can either be there or there. Let's look over on this far right-hand column of boxes. Okay, so in the right box, the 3 cannot be here by virtue of this 3, and the 3 cannot be here by virtue of this 3. So it can either be on this right-hand column of 3 cells on this right box. It can either be here or here, which means that the 3 on this bottom right box can either be here by virtue of this 3, can either be here or here. Hold on a second. So let's write those notes down. 3 or 3. We know the 3 cannot be there because it's either going to be there or there. and it cannot be here because of the 3 that exists. But check this out. We have a 3 here, which means it cannot be here, but this is a 1. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's going to be our last 1. So that means the 3 can only be here. And look, in the middle, the 3, we now have the answer for 3. Top row of 3 boxes. The 3 cannot be in the middle, and it cannot be on the top. So it needs to be on the bottom. There's only 1 blank cell. So there's 3. So now 3 cannot be here with regard to the bottom box. 3 cannot be here. 3 cannot be there by virtue of that 3. And 3 can also not be there by virtue of this 3. So that means the 3 can either be here or here. Now, because there are 2 3s, and it must be either here or here, that 3 cannot be because of these 2. Therefore, in this bottom right box, the only place 3 can be, it cannot be on the right because of either one of these 2. It cannot be in the top of this box because of this 3. It cannot be on the left of this box because of this 3. It cannot be on the bottom left because of these 2 3s. Therefore, the 3 must be here. Okay. So we're down to 3 possibilities for 3. Let's check with 2s, because we came into this looking for 2s as well as 3s. So let's look in the right column of boxes, of 3 boxes, okay? 2's in the top right. Cancels both of those out. 2 can either be here or here. So let's say here. Let's make a note. 2 can either be here or here. Only 2 spots they can be. So let's look at this. The bottom right, check. The bottom row of 3 boxes, the 2, by virtue of this 2 right here, cannot be along with any 3. So therefore, this must be a 2. Because that's a 1. It'd be the only blank cell. And because that was that, we knew that the 9 can only be here. We can check that because of this 9 and because of this 9. Cannot be here or here. So because that 9 can only be there, this 9 has got to be here. Now we've solved for 9s while we were at it with 2s. Okay, so 2, bottom, with regard to this bottom row of 3 boxes. Bottom, middle, has to be on the top, cannot be here by virtue of this 2. Therefore, it must be here. Since we're in the bottom right box, we only have 2 blanks remaining. Okay, we had notes for 3 and 9, but they're already here. So let's see what these 2 blanks are. 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing. And 5, 6, 7, and 8 are missing. 4 and 8. Now look at this. Remember, this is actually going to be the 1. So we only got 1 blank. We can figure for that, and we can quickly look, and that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So put the 4 here. So we know the missing number now is 8. Now we only have 2 in this bottom row of 9 cells. So let's see what they are. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 4 is missing and 3 is missing. But look, we already had a note for 3. 3 doesn't exist. So we know this is going to be a 3. and therefore this is the 4. Make sense? All right. So we came into this for 2s and 3s. We're down to 2 3s. Let's see if we can solve for the 2 3s. Well, we had a note here. All right, so 3 cannot be here. So therefore the 3 must be here. So with regard to this middle row of 3 boxes, 3 cannot be on the bottom, 3 cannot be in the middle, therefore it has to be in the top, and here we had notes. So 2s and 3s, the 3s are done. Let's check out 2s. We have 3 2s remaining. We ought to be able to figure this one out. Let's look at the top row. We have a 2 in the top right. We have a 2 on the top. We have a 2 on the bottom. 2 has to be in the middle. There's only 2 blank middle cells in this top box. Can't be in the middle one. Therefore, it has to be on the one on the right. So the right box, the right cell in that box. Let's see, there's only 2 left. Let's take care of this top box. 1, if we can. 1, 2, 3. 4 is missing. 5, 6, 7, and 8 is missing. But when you look at this middle row of cells, in the top row of boxes, there's only 1 missing, and that number missing is not the 8, it's the 4. And so therefore, the 8 is missing. Okay, now we're still down. We came into this looking for 2s. Let's come back to 2s, and let's figure this right-hand column of 3 boxes. The right-hand column of boxes. The 2 cannot be here. The 2 can either be here or here. But now look, since we've completed this 2, so this 2. So we have a 2 on the right. We have a 2 in the middle. Therefore, the 2 must be on the left with regard to that right column of boxes. Here we only have 1 blank. Let's solve for it. 1, 2, 3, or we can go 1, 2, 3. 4 is missing. 4 is missing. Same along here. 4 is missing. Okay, so we have a 4 on the top left of this column of boxes. We have a 4 on the right. Therefore, 4 needs to be in the 1 blank cell here. And therefore, the 8 will go to complete this box. Let's complete this top right box. Okay, that's the 8 that's missing. We only have 1 2 missing. Let's handle it. We've got 2 of each 4s and 8s. So the 1 2 that's missing, 2, let's go with this middle row of boxes, bottom right, or just bottom, middle, top. We're done with 2s. 8s and 4s. My favorite number, my favorite single-digit number is 8 because of infinity when it's on its side, when it's lazy. 21 is my favorite 2-digit number because of blackjack. And 100 is my favorite 3-digit number because if you cube 100, it's 1,000,000. That's 100 times 100 times 100, I think. All right, let's go with the middle center cell with regard to 4s. So we have 2 blank cells. That cannot be a 4. This, therefore, needs to be a 4. All right, so now let's go with this left box. 4 cannot be on the top. With regard to it, 4 cannot be on the bottom. With regard to it, so 4 needs to be here. And we've now solved for 4s. We only have 8s. We know that's going to be the 1, so we don't even have to look. That's an 8, and we like doing the 8, especially left-handed like that. And now we do 1. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow for who knows how difficult the puzzle will be. Later.